Thank you, Eric. Well, tomorrow marks 1 week since the deadly shooting at a Catholic church in Minnesota, and police have confirmed 3 more victims injured by gunfire. That brings the total number to 21. Last Wednesday, a gunman opened fire during Mass, killing 2 children and injuring more than a dozen others. Though the tragedy sent shockwaves across the country and the church, there have been stories of hope and healing. Now we are honored to be joined by Archbishop Bernard Hebda of the Archdiocese of St. Paul in Minneapolis. Your Excellency, thank you so much for joining us. I have to say that our prayers are with you and with the community as it grieves, and of course the church around the world that accompanies you in this moment. What happened last week is a tragedy that many are still grappling with, but you've been visiting with the victims in the hospital and even have some good stories that you can share. What can you tell us?
Yes, Monse, first, thank you for those prayers. I think they're so significant. As I do visit with those who have been hospitalized, they're so grateful for the prayers that they're receiving from all over the world. And it's interesting, at a time when prayer is being debated, that's what it seems like people are appreciating the most, those who have been directly affected. But you're correct that I've just been receiving so many signs of God's great love, even in the midst of this tragedy, as I hear from those who were directly impacted and from the community members at large. Beautiful stories about how the students have helped one another, how it is that they turn to prayer. I was with one young woman, and she was talking about holding the hand of the other young girl who was in the ambulance with her, and how they prayed fervently the Our Father, and another young man who asked the doctor to pray with him before the operation. So I get the idea that people are very much turning to the Lord at this time, and just been a real outpouring of love. There's no shortage of volunteers. Counselors are coming forward. Those who are able to help the parents and families in all different ways are stepping forward to really show what happens when a church community is impacted. And in my mind, that's very inspiring.
It is, and it, I guess, shows us the impact of these incredible prayers, as you mentioned. Well, now, Pope Leo himself called for an end to the pandemic of arms, as he called it. He prayed publicly for Minnesota and for the shooting victims. How impactful is it to have the Holy Father himself, an American, say something about this tragedy?
It's huge, Monse, especially to be able to hear those words in English in a Midwestern accent. And it goes a long way. I was so gratified and grateful that the Holy Father responded so quickly as well. So already at the time of the first press conference, we were able to share the Holy Father's pledge of prayers, and I think that's meant a great deal. I think also, as the Holy Father has called for an end to that pandemic, it certainly gives us some more areas in which we need to be able to pray. But it means a great deal that the whole church is praying for these young people, for their families, for those who have lost loved ones. It's so meaningful. The victims of the shooting were taken to 2 different hospitals in Minneapolis, and one of them is adjacent to the very hospital where Pope Leo had done his CPE training, his pastoral educational training, when he was a seminarian. So I know he knows the spot, he knows Minneapolis, and we're really counting on him continuing those prayers.
Well, it's great to know that we're deep in his heart as people here suffering through this pandemic of arms, as he called it. You are planning to reconsecrate the church before another Mass is held there. Can you explain to us why that must be done?
Yes, it really is. It's devastating what happened in that church. And so many people speak about the presence of evil. We know that our churches have to be places where people encounter goodness and they encounter the Lord. And so that the church offers a rite of rededication in that way is, I think, really insightful there. It gives us a chance to be able, in a very symbolic way, reclaim that territory for the Lord. I'm hoping that whenever we do that, and we're patiently waiting for the right time, that we would have a large number of our priests who would be able to join us in that, as well as the faithful. Now, I know it's going to take a long time for some of the faithful to be able to go back into that building that was the site of such devastation. But we're hoping that as time continues to heal, and that as those prayers continue, of which you spoke, that we will get to that point where that church will once again be a hub of activity. They're blessed that on the very same campus is the old church, and that's where people gathered for Mass this past Saturday and Sunday. And it was a beautiful experience to be there and to listen to the pastor, Father Dennis Zarin, to listen to his homily, and then just to see the way in which people come together. You know, for us as Catholics, the Eucharist is so important, both for building community, but then also as a sacrament of healing.
Yes.
And we certainly need both of those things here in Minneapolis.
We need them desperately, and we're so grateful for your witness and your courage. Thank you for your pastoral care, Archbishop.
Thank you, Monse.